Nigeria is Africa's largest economy, with over 200 million people, trillions in budgets, endless promises, yet the lights still go out again and again and again and again. The national grid collapses so often that darkness feels so normal. In early 2026 alone, the system has crashed twice in just 4 days. They say it's technical. They say it's vandalism. They say they are fixing it. But every government that comes in has failed to solve it. So we have to ask the real question. Is Nigeria's power crisis a failure? Or is it a system that works perfectly for the few people at the top? Welcome to the Fyn Print. We read between the lines so you don't have to. In this video, we are going to expose the vicious circle of how darkness fuels inflation and crime. We will track the 5.6 trillion naira debt hole. We will calculate the shadow economy, and we will ask, instead of fixing the broken national grid, is it time for the government to subsidize the sun? To understand why this matters, take a look at your wallet. When power fails, the economy bleeds. Factories are forced to run on diesel, which as at last year was about 1,758 naira per litre. This cost is passed to you. That is inflation. Inflation steals purchasing power, bringing hardship. And when hardship hits 200 million people, it breeds crime. It's a vicious circle. The darkness in our homes is fueling the chaos in our streets. So, why is the national grid so fragile? On paper, we have over 13,000 megawatts of capacity. But in reality, we barely deliver 5,000. But the problem isn't just about the headline-grabbing collapses. Even when the grid is stable, millions of us still face frequent lights out, lasting hours, days, or even weeks. In 2025 alone, vandals destroyed 178 transmission towers in 131 separate incidents. Kano State alone was the epicenter with 70 attacks. But is this just vandalism? Or is it a symptom of the same anger and poverty we just talked about? Now, let's follow the money. From Obasanjo to Tinubu, every administration has poured billions into these pits. Between 2015 and 2023 alone, CBN injected 2.3 trillion naira just to keep the lights on. Yet, by August 2025, the debt owed to generation companies still hit a record of 5.6 trillion naira. The government pays billions in subsidies, but the cash is swallowed up before it fixes the problem. So, is the government actually trying to resolve this? Or is the power sector just a corruption bed? This leads us to the uncomfortable truth. Who profits? If you run a business on generator, you are paying nearly 800% more for energy than someone on the national grid. That money goes somewhere. There is a massive market for diesel, generators, and batteries in Nigeria. In Nigeria, darkness is a business. And as long as the grid fails, that business booms. Just look at how far behind we are falling. This chart shows electricity consumption per person. South Africa is up here at over 3,000 kilowatt hours. Egypt is here at about 1,700. And Nigeria, we are all the way down here at barely 140. We have the biggest population, but one of the weakest systems. This isn't destiny, it's a choice. And here is proof that the system is broken beyond repair. In 2024 and 2025, the government approved billions for a solar mini grid at the presidential villa. Think about that. The people who control electricity policy have quietly decided they cannot rely on the national grid they manage. This isn't just about sustainability. It's a vote of no confidence. While Aso Rock secures constant light with taxpayer money, millions of Nigerians still live in blackouts. If solar works for the presidency, why isn't it being scaled for schools, hospitals, and for communities? This creates what I call the energy appetite: light for the rich, darkness for the poor. So, what's the way forward? If the grid is unstable, the government shouldn't just build solars for themselves. They should subsidize the sun for the citizens, make the panels cheaper, remove the import duties, give low-interest loans for installation. If you can't fix the national grid, at least give the people the tools to generate their own light. That is how you break the vicious circle of inflation and poverty. Nigeria's power crisis isn't just about darkness. It's about the economy, crime, and cost of living. Is the grid collapsing because the system is weak, or because the broken system works perfectly for the people at the top? That's the fine print. If you want to keep seeing deep analysis that connects policies to your real life, subscribe to the fine print. Also, if you want to know how the 43 million naira found at the Queen Mansion went, check out our next video. I'll see you in the next one.